Hey, what's up? It's Mike, Sweeps Coin Curator. What's going on? Today is going to be the first in a series of videos on how to write envelopes to the Sweeps casinos to get credits and hopefully make some extra money with a side hustle. So I'm going to get into that. This is part one of the series. There's a lot of talk out there about these TikTok classes, and this is kind of outside of the scope. Like, this series is just meant to show you what to do as far as writing the letters and give you the information for free so you don't have to pay. But a lot of people out there are talking about these TikTok classes and paying for something when all the information is available for free. It's kind of just you have to know where to look. So that's going to be a big part of this series, is just directing you on where to look for free. It's not really a scam to run a TikTok class. I don't agree with that. As long as they do what they advertise, they show you the information. But this is just a better alternative, in my opinion. Get all the same information for free. Don't pay the sign-up fee. Don't pay the monthly fee to these people that are just giving you information that's out there online, and we'll help you find it here at Sweeps Coin Curator. So stick with us, and we will get you the information for free without a monthly fee. I'm here to just compete and, again, offer this information for $0. I do ask that you use my referral links over at beacons.ai/free-sweepscoins, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's okay. You can throw me a like and a subscribe. You can comment and share the channel and my YouTube videos, as it really helps out the channel. But, again, there's no obligation. I'm not going to charge you a fee for this information. It's totally free. And, again, my advice is not to pay for any TikTok class. It is dramatic to call it a scam and mass report them to the platform. I mean, I get what they're doing. They're trying to make some extra money on the side. But a better way, in my opinion, is just share this free video series to others who are looking for the information and let them know that, you don't have to pay. And I think a monthly fee for the information is a bit ridiculous, because the information doesn't really change. Like, once you know how to write envelopes and once you know where to look for help and guidance, the info is not changing very often, if ever. And when it does, there are easy ways to verify it and chat with others that cost you $0, as we'll see later on. So stay tuned. And again, not to get too far off track before I start, but here's a few of these TikTok examples that I pulled up just by typing in hashtag envelope writing on TikTok. So here's one that says, want to make $2,000 from home, $50 to $75 per hour. Again, it's true, you can do this, but you don't need to pay this person in this video to get this information. So here's her pitch.
ITBOYBBNO $. That's me. That's right. That's me. That's right. I am HRM, the Gen Z Eminem.
So what happens there at the end whenever you
The Gen Z Eminem.
comment letters is they're gonna, I know it's real catchy,
The
right?
Gen Z.
Stop. Okay. When you comment letters for info, they're gonna direct you to one of these classes, paid to write, send it, whatever it is, and then they're going to try to charge you money for this information that's totally free. All you have to do is watch these videos that I'm going to put out for free. So, yeah. Here's another one, paid per letter. Well, another hashtag. And look at all these different letters. I'm not going to go through all of these or even any of these, but most, if not all, these people are just trying to sell you some kind of class for the most part. And so, you don't need to fall for this. You don't need to do that. Here's another one, earn from writing. Earn up to $6,000 to $7,000 monthly writing just letters. Kindly click the link. Of course, you click that link, and then it's going to... I tried to click it. It didn't even let me join the Telegram, so I guess you have to message them in the Telegram. I'm not going to do that, but it's all just their way of getting you to pay money for information that's totally free. And if people want, I can go more in depth in the TikTok thing, and I can make it a whole series about why the TikTok stuff is no good or why you shouldn't do it, or I can respond directly. If you have any TikTok videos, I can do a direct response. Put something in the comments if you want, or send me an email. If you paid for a class and you want me to respond to that person or whatever, I'm more than happy to do that, because it's just a lot of misinformation, really, as far as like, oh, you need to pay. It's a myth, like you need to pay for this info. So we're going to do it for free, so let's get into it. Step one, the first thing you need to do, unfortunately, there is some prep work. I know it sounds like it sucks, but it's really not that bad. Step one, do some prep work. It'll pay off later and increase your profit. It'll save you headaches down the road. It might seem like a waste or unnecessary, but I promise it's worth the investment. These companies are very strict, and one small mistake will cost you time and supply money and cause major headaches when your entries are denied. So following these steps in these videos will ensure that you get the most credits possible. And so I got a Discord pulled up here. I will put the link in the YouTube description below. But this Discord I found really helpful. It's free. It's public. $0 to join. $0 monthly fee. So you just get in there. A lot of helpful people. A lot of channels on the side you can see here. We're going to go over. Going to spend a lot of time in this Discord in these videos. There's Reddit and Facebook groups as well that are useful, but I found this Discord to be the most up-to-date, effective, and active I've seen that's not private. So I'd really recommend that you join this Discord, and I'll put the link in the channel below, or in the show notes below. And they actually have a pretty good explanation, so I'm going to just read it here. Welcome to Write-Ins Explained. If you're unfamiliar with sweepstakes casino write-ins, here's a straightforward explanation. What are sweepstakes casino write-ins? Sweepstakes casino write-ins are a way to claim free SC sweeps coins from sweepstakes casinos by sending a handwritten letter through the mail. These write-ins are part of the casino's alternative method of entry, AMOE, which is required by law to provide a no-purchase necessary way to enter sweepstakes. Depending on the casino, you're usually credited between $1 and $6 per envelope. You'll see this referred to as a drop. It's very important to follow the exact guidelines the casino set up for the write-ins, which can be found in the sweeps rules section of their website. Examples of guidelines include how to write your request, the order of the information, and in some cases even the specific color of ink to use. And so they have another channel here. It's Before You Write. So let's check that out real quick. Before you start writing mailing requests for social casinos, take a second to read below. Number 1, your money depends on these casinos, and your account can be deactivated at any time for any reason, so do not rely on this as a full-time job. And yeah, I can kind of attest to this. I was grinding pretty hard with the writing, and then I ended up getting banned from the VGW sites, Chumba, Global, and Lucky Land. And it ended up hurting me in the end when they banned my account, and I had a lot of envelopes outstanding. So yeah, you do want to be careful and not rely on this necessarily as full-time income, or if you do, you might want to diversify and write to more than one company at a time. So good advice there. Number 2, start small. Take the time to learn the common mistakes and double-check your submissions before sending them, including the casino's TOS and sweepstakes rules. And there's a channel here, Entry Check. It's a great channel where you can post a picture of your card, and they'll tell you if it's okay, so that's really helpful. Use the How to XXX channels to view a basic template on sending these envelopes. But again, always double-check the current TOS and sweepstakes to confirm. And so we'll be looking at those in a bit. Number 4, focus on a few casinos at first until you're comfortable with how these social casinos work. Number 5, determine your risk tolerance and your goals for these casinos. It's ultimately your choice what you want to do with your mail-in sweeps. If you want to use it as free gambling money or want to focus exclusively on converting as much sweepstakes coins to cash as possible or something in between, it's not uncommon for this, quote, free play to become an addiction or gambling all your hard work away. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. For actual supplies and getting started, use the Supply Hacks channel to find the occasional supply sale and also supplies that known envelope writers use. Again, another good resource, totally free. 7, before sending any envelopes, ensure that your social casino account is both ID verified and address verified. It's different between some casinos, but in general, the ID verification is a state-issued ID and will be used to verify your full name. The address verification can be a variety of documents such as utility bills or bank statements and will generally be used to confirm only your address, etc. And number 8, note that many casino timelines to credit free mail-ins are long, generally 6 to 8 weeks or longer. Keep this in mind when choosing how many envelopes you will send per week. So a lot of good info there. And again, I would really highly recommend you just join this Discord, start looking around. And that's step 1, is kind of get familiar with some of the terms, get familiar with the sites. You know, you may want to click around and check some of these sites and just read the sweeps rules and see which ones work best for you. All right, step 2 today, pick your sweeps casino or casinos, better yet, and sign up. So now we have to choose at least one casino or better yet, multiple to diversify. I would say diversify just in case you don't get a drop or to mix up your exposures. So if you write the Chumba Casino, and Chumba Global and Lucky Land are all owned by the same company, even though they credit at different times. So you may want to write some to Chumba and then some to one of the other companies as well, so you're not depending on one company to give you drops. Some factors to consider depending on your preferences are the payout amount, the time to credit, the difficulty and length of the writing requirement, RTP or return to player of games, and the availability in your area. Because some of these casinos aren't available in Canada, some of them aren't available in certain states, so you want to check that out before you get going. But generally, when you sign up and you put in your information, they'll tell you, hey, you can't sign up from this state or that state. So the recommendations, I would stick with what's in this Discord. It's a pretty good list for now. I'm going to go over each one by one. Chumba Casino would be, well, the first three are Chumba, Global, and Lucky Land. Again, all owned by the same company. Kind of interchangeable, in my opinion. They're all the same writing requirement, except for 1 to 2 words might be different on them. The pros and cons for each one. So the pros is they pay $5 for each envelope. They have unlimited entries. Generally decent payout times. A few months for credits compared to 7+ months elsewhere. And they have blackjack, which is an important way to maximize your return to player. The only real con with the VGW sites is that there's a high risk of a ban under false pretenses and poor customer service that often ignores you. So they are known for that. They have these ban waves where they'll just falsely accuse you of cheating their system even though you're not. And then they will lock your account and you won't get any more credits. So that's a bummer, but yeah. And then you can see here, there's a template for each casino here. So this would be for Chumba Casino. Gives you the envelope, gives you the note card. Global Poker, very similar. The address is slightly different. The index card, the 4x6 index card is slightly different. Lucky Land, again, very similar. So these three are going to be very similar. Chumba, Global, and Lucky Land. Fortune Coins is next. One of their pros is they also pay $5 per envelope. They pay pretty quickly. However, they only credit you with one per week, as you can see here. So that's, that kind of kills the idea of writing in volume. No blackjack on the site, so that's not good. And then mailing to Canada, which costs more. So this is a Canadian mailing address, as you can see here. So Fortune Coins, one per week. You're not going to make much off of that. Next up, Golden Hearts. Golden Hearts is actually paying $6, highest I've seen. They pay in about 3 weeks, as you can see here, which isn't too bad. That's pretty fast. The cons, however, though, it's a bit convoluted. You're using 2 envelopes instead of just one. You have to put an envelope inside of an envelope so they can mail you a code back. There's a max of 1 per day, so you're only making $6 per day. And again, it's not available in Canada, so there you go. And one of the neutral points is that they have blackjack, but it has bad 6 to 5 blackjack rules. So Golden Hearts, I don't know. High Five is up next. The pros here, unlimited entries, which is always good. Shorter writing requirement, as you can see. You don't have to write as much for this template as you do on the other ones. Generally faster payouts compared to these other casinos, and they do have blackjack, which is nice. However, the cons with High Five is they only pay $3 per entry. So you're trading off, a shorter writing requirement for $3, $2 less per envelope. And you have to write the code on the back of the envelope right here. So that's, a bit of extra work. And you have to write the date up here, which a lot of casinos don't make you do that. So as you can see, each site kind of has their pros and cons. You're going to have to choose which one is best for you. I'll give some recommendations at the end before we close this out. Stake is up next. Stake, the pros here, again, they pay $5 per envelope, which is nice. Unlimited entries, very nice. They have blackjack, which is always good. And one of the little tricks and secrets for Stake, if you don't know, is that they actually don't have a playthrough requirement. I know that it says in their terms you have to play it through, I think 3 times, but I've been able to just cash out right away when I get the credits without playing anything. So not sure if I should have put that out there in public, but it's true. So there you go. Some of the cons from Stake, no Canadians can write in, so sorry about that. A big con is it takes forever for them to credit. Personally, I sent some envelopes to them back in June of last year. Still have not received my credit, which is pretty ridiculous. It's almost 8 months now since I've sent out, and I'm still waiting on my credits, so you want to keep that in mind. If you send out envelopes, you're not going to get the credit for a long time. And they are strict on the handwriting and will deny valid entries sometimes. It happened to me where I sent them 250 envelopes a couple years ago, and they said 75 of them had illegible handwriting, which is total nonsense because my handwriting's legible. And it happened to one of my friends as well. They threw out a big batch of his where they said his handwriting was illegible, which is just not true. It is legible. So Neutral but noteworthy with stake is that they are crypto only, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It kind of depends on if you're familiar or not with crypto. I'm pretty familiar with how crypto works, so it's not an issue, and I like having some crypto sometimes, so yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. Pulse is up next, paying $5 per envelope, which is good. Unlimited entries, which is nice. Has blackjack, which is nice. So those three are kind of the three that I look for when I'm trying to pick a casino to rate for. The downsides to Pulse, it takes forever to credit. Again, I sent some to them back in June of last year as well. I did get credits about a week or two ago, so it takes a while, but not as long as stake. They do tend to credit. It just takes a long time. Blue ink only, I don't know if that's really a con, but it's just something that can trip you up, where most other sites you can use any color. Pulse is blue only, so make sure you stick with blue. The code here is 13 digits instead of 12. We'll get into the code later on, but yeah, it's one extra digit, not really the biggest deal. You do have to write the website up here, so it's a little bit extra writing compared to some other sites. Not the worst option in the world, though. And then we've got a few more that I really wouldn't recommend at all. Moto, they're paying unlimited entries, and they have blackjack. Taking about 2 to 3 months to pay, but it's a long writing requirement, comparable to the other ones that pay $5, but they're only paying $3 per envelope. And they're banned in some areas like PA, where I'm at, which doesn't make sense because most casinos are available here. There's only a very few that aren't, so wouldn't really recommend them. Fliff is up next. It's a sports book where you can write in envelopes as well. I would use caution with them, though, because they're skipping people left and right. I wrote them. You can only write a certain amount per month to them. Right now it is, I believe it's 50 per. Yeah, it's 50 per month. See, this keeps changing. It was 100, then it was 50, then it was 50, then it was 100. You can only write them 50 envelopes per month. And I never got credit for my last batch I sent. So I sent them about 200 envelopes last year. I got credit for 150. And then the last batch of 50, I just never got credit. So yeah, I would use caution with Fliff. As of right now, they're not really too stable of an option. And they have a high playthrough requirement, which means you have to play the money before you can cash it in. 20x playthrough is a bit ridiculous. So as the poster here says in Discord, I would heavily recommend against writing mail-ins to them. I agree with that. Next up, Clubs Poker. Again, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's fairly new. You can only write 50 entries per month and three sweeps coins per envelope. But with this writing requirement, I would want $5 per envelope, not $3. And there were also a bunch of reports where Clubs Poker was already banning people basically from the start. They opened up. They were good for about a month or two, and then they started banning people that wrote envelopes. So I would not really recommend them either. As far as other sites not listed, there are dozens and dozens of other options, but the ones listed are the main options to write to. You can test out the other sites. Just be sure to read their terms and send a test batch to make sure they credit. But these are more risky. Hopefully we get Sheesh Casino coming up. I did a preview for that in one of my last videos, one of my more recent videos, but Sheesh Casino looks pretty good. It looks like a $5 payout, a fairly standard writing requirement. And anytime there's a new casino, they tend to have like a honeymoon period where they're going to pay out pretty quickly, at least at the start. So I'm a bit excited to write to Sheesh when they come out. Hopefully it works out for us, but yeah. As far as my final recommendations, again, make sure that you're reading all the rules and details so you're using the right ink, the right size paper or note card. Make sure the sweeps code does not expire, which you're going to need, and I'll get into that in some later videos. I recommend sending within 1 to 2 weeks of writing just to be safe, because the code that you have to generate a code and then write it on the note card, and they expire within 30 or 60 days, depending on the casino. So I would just send them out the sooner the better. Anyway, what would I recommend? I would say use the VGW casinos if possible. So Chumba, Global, or Lucky Land. I would say split between 2 or even all 3 is best, because they're owned by the same company, but they drop in credit at different times. So if you're just starting out, I would pick either 1, 2, or all 3 of these and just start writing to them to get a feel for it. Now, if you're banned or you don't want to write just to one company, VGW, then Pulse would be my second recommendation, despite the wait time. Beyond that, a lot of these casinos have issues where you're only going to get $3 per envelope, and that's before your costs too. Don't forget to rate these envelopes. You're going to have to buy the envelope. You're going to have to buy the pen. You're going to have to buy the stamp. And by the time you write the envelope and then send it in and only get $3 back, you're really not netting a lot, especially then you have to play it through. So I would generally want to only write to casinos that pay $5 each, but that's just me. Otherwise, it's really just not worth the return on your investment as far as stamps and other supplies. So yeah, I would say Pulse would be my second choice if you don't want to write to one of these top three. After that, I mean, Stake would probably be my next choice just because they pay $5 as well. And then you can do Fortune or Golden Hearts, but you're only able to write one per week or one per day, which is, that's nothing. My last piece of advice in this section is be on the lookout for new casinos such as Sheesh, as I mentioned, as it can be good for a time at the start and, they can be valuable options. It can be risky, though, when a new casino comes out because you don't really know if they're going to pay until they start dropping credits. So that's why it's good to be in these Discord groups and keep on top of this information, just because if somebody is going to post in this Discord, and they have a section here where confirmed drops, etc. So there's a lot of good information here, but that was part one. Again, just to go over it again, don't pay for a TikTok class. Stay here. All this information is free. All the information you get there is free. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly or post in the Discord here or post in my comment section. Somebody will help you out for free. Just get familiar with the terms and all the different things around the sweeps casinos, number one. Number two, pick your casino and sign up. And those are the first two steps, and then you're on your way to earning money, and you're on your way to a nice side hustle here with the sweepstakes casinos. Join me for part two where we finalize the prep work. We're almost done with that. And then we'll get started with the fun stuff and actually start writing some envelopes. So yeah, again, give me a like, give me a subscribe, share the video, totally free. Check out my site over here at beacons.ai/freesweepscoins. All those casinos I mentioned, plus many, many others are here. You just click on the casino, it takes you right to it, and you can sign up. And it really helps out the channel here. All right, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with part two.